a rowdy group. I love it. Hey, thank you for being here, everybody. I know folks are still, feel free to go up and grab some food, but we did want to begin some of the things we'd like to accomplish here today on the anniversary of our 100 years of men's basketball. Let's give a hand for men's basketball. Before we begin, I know a host of folks here in the room have probably read or heard of the passing of Margot Lateef here on campus this week. Very, very unfortunate on Wednesday when we were made aware of this. And so before we begin today, I'd like to have everyone, if you could, just bow your head for a moment of silence for Margot. Thank you, everybody. Appreciate that. So, once again, I welcome everybody. My name is Robert Coleman. I am the Director of Athletics here at Whittier, and my pleasure, after coming through my 10th year here, that this amazing day is upon us, and just awesome that we had such a tremendous crowd come back. We have over 100 individuals here on this Valentine's weekend, so really, really appreciate that. So the first thing we want to do to begin, I'd like to bring President Herzberger up. Let's give President Herzberger a nice hand for being with us today. And he just has a few words to welcome everybody. So Sharon, thank you.
Thank you. Yes, and I know we want to get on with our program and hear more about the glorious history of Poet basketball, but I am so pleased that you all came to visit with us today and to celebrate this amazing occasion. I hope you'll be here for the 200th anniversary celebration as well. And I also am quite well aware of how much talent there is in the room. I know that some of the people here, Rob's gone around and Steve's gone around trying to find out whether there are individuals who'd like to at least sit on the bench in case we need them today, but haven't had any more volunteers. But this is a great occasion. We're glad that this could take place right now. And quite honestly, we've got a great team that may be approaching some of your records. And we're hoping that as much as we like the records that people in this room have set, we want to break them. And we have a basketball program that is building to that end. So we're pleased about that. We, again, just so happy that you're here, and I'll look forward to celebrating this wonderful day with you. I hope you've all met my husband, David Herzberger. I know a lot of you already know him, but point him out there. A very big fan of basketball and especially Poet basketball. So welcome and enjoy this wonderful occasion.
Sharon and David are two of our biggest fans, so again, thank you for all the time you spend on the field and the court and supporting all the kids in our program. Thank you again, Sharon and David. As you know, these types of events just don't mysteriously happen. There's lots of hard work that goes on behind the scenes. Not only do I want to thank Deanna Otero, who's the administrative assistant in our program, for helping decorate, but Lance Franey for his efforts, Laura Elliott, who works with the women's basketball team, her efforts here, and obviously Coach Carter. I also want to recognize Steve Delgado, who I know a host of folks know, the VP for advancement here on campus, Kurt Johnson, who's the Senior Director of Development here to my right, Cassandra Ronquillo, and Sabrina Ortiz, both graduates of 14 who are also working with development and advancement. I really appreciate all your efforts and all of the advancement staff. Let's give them a hand. Well, obviously, it's a special day for many reasons. We have two coaches from the past 100 years who are with us today. Rock Carter, from 1997 to our current coach. Let's give Rock a nice hand. We have Ivan Guevara. Go ahead, give him a hand. I couldn't even say "and his lovely white Jackie" before we got that song. So let's give the better half a hand. And we have a former California State Senator in the room, and Tony Strickland from class of '93. And we had 5 Hall of Famers, but I don't know if Herm Mason's made it yet, but I do want to recognize the individual Hall of Famers who are with us. We have Dave Whittier, class of '87. We have Mike Brown, class of '79. Where's Mike at? Where's Mike? Jim Olson has come out to support this day, class of '59. He's a Hall of Famer from baseball, but and we have Gordy Peterson, class of '50. Where's Gordy at? Where's Gordy? You've seen the Hall of Fame now. I think most folks, when you come in, you see the new Hall of Fame. We have a display board, lots of information in the board. But do you remember the old Hall of Fame, how it was done on the walls? Do you remember that? Dave Jacobs, 25. Rock Carter, 21. We've captured 30 SCIAC championships. Ivan's 3 for 3 and the highest winning percentage of any coach we've had in the program. Why'd you stop, dude? What happened?
Bigger and better thing.
Oh, is that it? The SCIAC began a playoff format in 2007 and 8, where the top 4 teams of the 9 teams, Chapman was just added a few years ago, the 9 teams in the conference, the top 4 made the playoffs. We've made it 5 of the last 9 years, and if we make it this year, it'll be 4 out of 5 in a row. So really, really good stretch for our basketball program. We have a host of key individuals that I want to bring up to speak now. And the first one I'd like to introduce, because I know he has things to do to get ready to get us a victory today, I'd like to bring up our current coach, Rock Carter.
I didn't obviously write anything out or prepare, because this isn't about me, but it's about our family that we've created. And it's just outstanding. As we started this, I'm standing outside and I'm thinking this is going to be a quick one here. I got to get going. Even though Coach Jensen, my assistant coach, runs this program, or he thinks he does. I'll get back to Coach Jay in a minute. But we were trying to prepare for a very good basketball team today. We have a great group of guys, and I think that's something that we've done these last 15, 18 years, is established a community, guys that are serious about basketball, to continue the tradition that started well before me. With Coach Bonham, obviously, Coach Guevara, who won 3 conference championships, and then obviously my mentor, Coach Jacobs, who won 8 conference championships in his 25 years. And so, as Rob indicated, I'm very, very proud to be associated with a group of individuals like that, as well as the administrative people I've worked with, and Rob included in that. The last 10 years has been probably one of the most fruitful years of administration in terms of athletics, in terms of getting things done on our campus, with the assistance, obviously, of President Herzberger. We've really tried to do things the right way. We've recruited our kids the right way, taking on, and as you look around this room, I've noticed some of, Gordy Pedersen, who, when I took the job, was literally the first letter. Back then, guys, we didn't have emails, we didn't have texting. So I actually got a letter from Gordy congratulating me and saying, continue the tradition that Whittier College has. And I always remember that letter. And Gordy continued to support us. He has supported us. and it's wonderful to see him out here again. In my conversations with Coach Guevara, he's spoken to my team a number of times about motivation. He gets us going. As you can see, he's still somebody that is well respected and knows what's going on, and I just love getting in this kind of environment. But as I'm standing there greeting people, I notice that it's not just about our players and our recent players, but about the families. The Hamiltons are here, Mrs. Ortiz is here, and I apologize if I miss anybody else, but the families that we've created, the Kays are here, parents of kids that we've had in our program, and it just shows how important Whittier College basketball has been to not just your sons, but also yourselves and our family. I really take a lot of pride in that part of our program. So, welcome. Enjoy the rest of the day. Remember, it's not about me, but I can go on and tell you how grateful I am for the rest of the night, but it's not about that. But I do want to say one thing. I've got great support from our administration, and I got the best staff in the conference, and we've had the best staff in the conference for the last 10 years with Mark Jensen, Mike Myers, Ryan Conway. And as we go through this real quick, so many of you have supported Whittier College in other ways besides showing up for our games by financial means, and we've done some great things. We not only travel probably every year now compared to every other, but we've gone on international tours. We played Division I schools, which was a direct connection. This last year we played UNLV, the direct connection with an ex-player, Danny Carvalho. And those things are really special to us, and our kids appreciate it, and they're doing it because the people before them have supported Whittier College as well. And I really, really appreciate it. So thank you very much for all of you here. I want to acknowledge everybody here, but I don't have the time. And one other person I do want to say, Professor Hickey, our team psychologist, is back there. In today's world, and being a parent, and some of you younger parents will realize this, in today's world, a team psychologist is just as important as a good recruiter. But we really appreciate all the work, and I love our staff, and I love our administration. Thank you very, very much.
Hey, Rob, you need Ivan to go down there, fire him up or what? We'll get him up here quick. We'll get him down there. All right, thank you, Rob. I appreciate that. At this time, I'd like to introduce a dear friend of mine, someone who I went to graduate school with at Springfield College, a graduate from 1988, a player on the basketball team here. He's the son-in-law of Hall of Fame coach Dave Jacobs. And really appreciate Chris Shoemann coming back here today to be with us. He was up in Northern California on work, but you know, we obviously know how special Coach Jacobs was to this program. And I'd really like Chris to come up and say a few words, and so help me in welcoming Chris Shoemann. Thanks, Chris.
We had one quick joke in the back, is that back 30 years ago or 20 years ago, we maybe needed 2 or 3 team psychologists for the guys that we had playing. As Rob said, I've got a unique resume here in order to give this speech. Not only did I play here, but I either was stupid enough or had the guts enough to date one of Coach Jacobs' daughters and then marry her and start a family. So since his passing, you know, that time has gone on. Things like this, they get easier, but they don't. And Rob and I wanted to just make sure that there was representation from Dave's end, just like there is from Rock and from Coach Guevara. There's, you know, you get into missing somebody, and you get into the impact that coaches of all sports and of all nature have on their athletes' lives. And one of the things that I had always read about with respect to Eddie Robinson, who was the football coach at Grambling State, that Robinson said that the profession of coaching is a profession of love. And you can't be a good coach without loving your players. And that love takes different forms. Sometimes there were players that were loved differently than other players. A couple turnovers and you really weren't loved. But that was love because it was directness and it was honest and it was putting you with a set of circumstances such that you carried those forward. Carried those forward as a professional, carried those forward if you coached, and carried those forward with how you conduct yourself, of being honest and being somebody who's not fooling themselves. This has been a special place to me and to our families, and this is a special day and a celebratory day for the entire program. So, on behalf of the Jacobs family, I just wanted to give some remarks. Thank you.
Thank you, Chris. I appreciate that. And as Chris mentioned, obviously, this day wouldn't be complete without Ivan speaking. We welcome him always back. He's just full of enthusiasm. What he has been able to do when he's been back here on homecoming and speaking with the alumni who come back, speaking with our kids. I mean, you just can't put a price tag on that. They're so appreciative. We are, Ivan, of your support, continued support. So let me introduce Ivan, coach from 68 to 71, a three-time champion, as I said. Ivan, come on up.
There we go.
Whoa, there we go, baby. That's sharp.
A little bit tight.
I like that.
It's certainly an honor to be here. I'm all choked up because I'm talking to former teammates and players, and there's things that I didn't realize that I still remember. I had to be around my players and teammates, and they just came back to my mind, and as a result, it's been kind of difficult. I haven't even eaten because I'm remembering so much about my great opportunities at Whittier College. I wore this jacket because that was the first championship. That was my sophomore year. And we won 3 championships in a row. And it wasn't because I was on the team, it was because we were just loaded with great people, great talent. We've kept in touch with some, not all. A lot of them have dispersed throughout the country. Some are overseas. But what the accomplishments were that it formed me as a person. Aubrey Bonham, our mentor, was an incredible mind. He was so innovative. Most of you have run the lines. You know what that is. I remember in high school running the lines because my high school coach was a teammate of Gordy Pedersen. And he's not here today. He's unable to, he's not mobile. But I learned so much from him that we had a midget team. I played a forward. And when I came to Whittier, it's because my coach says you need to go to someone that can teach you to be a point guard. And how true that was, how fortunate I was. Aubrey Bonham turned me from a forward to a point guard. And we had the good fortune to win those 3 championships in a row. Then the next year I became an assistant coach, and that team also won. In the early years, Bonham, who we called Bonnie, was pretty famous in the area. But then I found out he was famous everywhere. Eventually, by sitting in the office and listening to the phone calls coming from coaches from all over, getting his opinion. I remember one time Bill Fitch came in with a team from Iowa. I got to sit in there and listen to these 2 brains discussing basketball. It lasted 3 hours. This was after the game. Bill Fitch, of course, coached for the Celtics and a few other pro teams. And I don't know if he maybe in the Hall of Fame. I can't remember if he's on the list or not. But Aubrey Bonham started the basketball program. We had basketball here, but it wasn't played the way he taught it. And his fast break is famous. I used it even after I left. 20 years later, I was still using the Whittier College fast break. And this man was a genius when it came to fundamentals. You know, it was just a very lucky situation. I was laughing because I told my wife, Hillary Clinton's pretty lucky to have 6 coin flips in a row and win that. And I said, well, you know, it happens. I was lucky too. I played on 3 championship teams. Then I went on and coached 3 varsity teams to championships. That's very fortunate. I'm blessed. I was surrounded by good people, surrounded with talent. Gordy knows that in the 40s, that was a prime time for basketball at Whittier. We had recognition throughout this area. And then that was the first team to go to Kansas City to the national championships. So in the 40s, we had tremendous basketball where Whittier College dominated the SCIAC. In the 50s, 8 out of 10 championships, okay? I was involved in 3 of those as a player and 1 as a coach. And then became the freshman coach, and we won like 6 championships, and we were playing UCLA, SC, junior colleges. We beat the SC Trojans 3 out of 5 times. And they were asking me, where'd you get those players? You know, they figured a small college. Hey, Tommy Reed and Hugh Fenderson in the sports arena put on a show. They had a 7-foot center. They had the best players in the area. And these guys tore them apart. I had a substitute that got 20 points. You know? And Tommy reminded me of my youth as a coach, because when the game was in the bag, one of my high school teammates and a teammate in college on these championship teams, Bill Donner, please stand up, Bill. He's been with me all these years. He comes down to the bench and hands me a cigar. And at that time, Red Auerbach was famous. When the game was won, he'd light up a cigar. So these guys make me light a cigar at the sports arena. I never heard the end of that. Years later, Bill Mulligan, who was the coach of the SC team, would remind me about that moment. But to tell you a little bit more about Aubrey Bonham, when he retired, he came up to San Jose, lived in Boulder Creek, and I asked him to come and do some clinics. And we had all the coaches from the area there, and it was a tremendous success. They were all engrossed in Aubrey Bonham. He was teaching us how to defend the behind-the-back dribble, fundamentally breaking it down how to defend the behind-the-back dribble. And the guy was a genius. He wrote a book. He retired in 1968. 1976, he wrote a book on basketball, on the fast break. Then he wrote one in 1984 and on man-to-man defensive fundamentals. I mean, he must have been close to 90 years old when he wrote that last book. And you can still get it on Amazon. I looked it up. So, you know, any of you basketball aficionados, if you want to learn some basketball from the master, take a look at those books from Aubrey Bonham. He was offered the UCLA job before Johnny Wooden was. Okay? He stayed at Whittier because his personality fit here. And he didn't want to get caught up in all the being a personality and having to speak and do this and do that. He just wanted to coach. The man, when he was coaching, was focused on that. An amazing, amazing man. I owe him a great deal. I think that he's in the National Hall of Fame, not just the Hall of Fame at Whittier College, but he's in the National Hall of Fame. He won over 500 games at a time when only one other person had won more than 500 games, and that was Adolph Rupp at University of Kentucky. Now, of course, there's a lot of others. But that just to show you the quality of coaching that we had at Whittier College. We dominated not only the SEIC, but the district championships. I was involved in 5 trips to Kansas City. The other one, Godell was too young to join you. He was well known in national circles. He was a person that was so quiet and mild, and then he got on the basketball court and look out. He had a different personality altogether. Okay. We had wonderful teams, and I want to thank all of you that played for me, all my teammates that are here. I'd like to mention quickly some of them. Warren Winchester was involved in coaching our freshman team with his buddy Jim Cowan, and he was involved in helping our program whenever he could. Even years later, when I was a varsity coach, he was still very much involved in helping. Our fans were incredible fans. We didn't have any money then. We still don't. We had a very classy group, though. We all wore blazers. We all looked sharp with ties. You know, people commented on our team, on the way we looked. We had traveling bags. Our warm-ups were great. Everything was done. We had no money. The way we paid for all of this is we would every year play competition. There was Division I, Arizona State, you name it. They gave us guarantees. So they many times kick our tail, but we'd go home with some money. And we could pay for our program. Something else that happened was that our fans were so involved. We played in a gym of probably 1,200, and it was down from here. The fire department would have to come and make sure that when we filled that gym, they wouldn't let any more people in. They were lined up all the way to Campus Inn. Big long lines. Our rooting section was famous enough to be mentioned at the coaches' meetings in the conference, trying to get us to eliminate that rooting section. Okay? Well, you know how that is now. Every university in the nation has a rooting section. We had the Orthogonal Society that were famous for getting involved in the game. Other than my wife, who had more technical than I did, okay, they probably had more effect on the outcomes of our games. We had 32 wins in a row at home. Okay? That's not too shabby. We lost our first game at San Diego State, and then from then on, won every game, 3 championships, and we wouldn't have done it without players like Tommy Reed. I recruited him through another player that was coming. They were both on the Orange County All-Star team. And then I told Chip Morvay, who's not here, and who didn't play the last year because he was a 2-year all-conference player, and then was replaced by Mal Neely. Mal, please stand up. You're one of the greatest players to ever play here. Mal was an all-Army player. Navy? All-Navy player, okay? And we were fortunate enough to have him with us. And he made all district, he led us, he was a quarterback of our team. Chipmore Bay, again, didn't play because he was hurt. And then, but he did, when he was coming in here, and we discussed about getting in school and all that, I asked him about a teammate of his, Tom Reed, who was also on the Orange County All-Star team. And Tommy came, visited, decided to come to Whittier. He had a fantastic career, honorable mention All-American in basketball. And we started a volleyball team, and Tommy was the leader of the team, along with Ken Scanlon. They both made All-American. Tommy went on to become the captain of the Olympic U.S. volleyball team, okay? Out of all the athletes that we have, I don't know how many have risen to that level. And I think he deserves to be in the Hall of Fame. Anyway, it's been a pleasure to speak to you and to be a part of this, and forgive me for being choked up. I'm looking at Carlos Barriga and remembering the great years with the teams that he played on, and I have so much admiration and thanks for those of you that helped me to become successful in this game. And by the way, I love you all.
Rob, Chris, another hand. Thank you. Our fan section's now called the Poet Pit. Just so you know, you'll see the bleachers, they're painted. It says Poet Pit on them. So we did that this year, and is Coach Jensen still here? He was the brain trust, I think, of this thing, and I crossed my fingers because I knew that was going to be a tough thing to undo. So thanks for making that happen. As Ivan said, there's so many folks to thank, part of our basketball program, whether it's been just coming to our games and supporting us, giving to the program for a period of time, or if it's just recently. And as Rock mentioned, we have been able to go on those international tours to Costa Rica, to Spain. We went on. Coach Carter got really ill the last time we went. He couldn't even go. So I know he went through a tough period there, but Coach Jensen took the team, and they're great educational experiences for all the guys on the team, as well as it really helps us with recruiting. Quite honestly, it's really, really important. And so, I thank you once again for all your support. If you want to support the team in any way, shape, or form, obviously you can see Cassandra here to my right. She's got the basketball still to sign if you haven't signed it. You can text POET 41444 if you feel like doing that. Also, anyone who gives $250 or more to the program, our good friend Dr. Izaki right here, class of 74, Ramsey, give a little wave. He's offering some free teeth whitening if anyone $250 or more, and I thank you for you doing that. It's really, really nice of you to do that. So, give Ramsey a hand. And lastly, just so you know the rest of how this day will work, one, you can stay here obviously and mingle. The game does not start till 2 o'clock, so feel free to stay here. This room will stay open till right after halftime. So during halftime, if you want to come back, chat, have a drink or something, feel free to do that. At halftime, we are going to introduce all of the players who are here today at halftime down on the floor, okay? So we have a section right outside the door that we've reserved, right? It's the very first section right out the door here. I'd ask you to please kind of sit in that area if you could, because you'll see me around 5 minutes to go before halftime. Come and grab you. Cassandra and some folks from Advancement will be helping me. We're going to line you up kind of down the stairs. So when the buzzer goes off, we're going to quickly go onto the court, and we're going to start that part of our program. Okay? So again, if you're staying, feel free. Please sit in that section. It will really help with gathering everybody. Lance Franey, one of our assistant ADs, will do that presentation. We have about 20 minutes, and I don't want to get the officials any madder at us than that, because every 2 points will be vital in this game. So, so I like to do that. And then also, Tony Leone is in the back, our photographer. If anyone would like to get a family photo, a group photo, feel free in the back to do that. Just grab him. He's more than happy to snap some photos. The more photos we have, the better. So, so that's that on my end. I don't know, did I miss anything? We good? Anything else? Any thoughts? Steve, anything? Good? Awesome. Well, again, once again, thank you so much for being here. Just an awesome, awesome day. Good luck, and let's go get a big...